Hello again, Essay here. About 30 years ago, a massacre took place in Rwanda. Now, I don't know anyone from Rwanda, although I have to admit, I did know someone from Djibouti. And no, I don't mean your booty, Djibouti, the country. But anyway. But this video isn't really about what happened in Rwanda, where because of a power vacuum, almost 1 million people were killed. No, this is something about a little bit closer to home. It's about what happened in Tennessee, where a radical leftist went into a Christian school and shot it up full of holes before they themselves got shot up full of holes by the police. Now, the Nashville PD found a manifesto, but then sat on it for quite a while. But then Steven Crowder, who I don't know, he somehow must have paid somebody off and got a copy of it, and he released it. And let's just say this, nobody was surprised. Nope. No one was surprised. But before we go any further, I have to sell you something. Has sex lost its fun? Does Netflix and chill more like boring and no chill at all? Well, guess what? I'm not just some fool who complains about stuff on the internet. I also am a published author, and I have 2 books just for you. Glitch, A Precarious Duo, and Glitch, The Future is Unwritten. And they're both available right now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other fine bookstores. And I won't bore you with all the details. Let's just say that if you like Thelma and Louise, or if you're from my generation, you have fond memories of Vanishing Point, then believe me, you'll enjoy a Glitch. Yep, I'm no shit. And wait for it, I got more books coming down the pike. So, if I don't get run over by a train, you'll be seeing those books pretty soon too. Now, back to the video. Alright, now that little bit of business is over, let's get back to the video. Now, a lot of smart people, like Dr. Steve Turley, they said that the reason why this person, who obviously was confused, because from what I know, they were born a girl, but they decided they were a little boy. Yeah, one of those. He referred to the person as being influenced by so-called emancipation politics, in which is almost on the same level as Maoism, because I remember back when I was a much younger person, I remember not reading one of those little red books. No. I saw a documentary about the Cultural Revolution, and they said that one of the things that wasn't a real red book was that Mao proclaimed that in order for a slave to be free, it wasn't enough that the slave master had to be released the slave, that the slave had to kill the slave master in order to be truly free. I'm thinking, yeah, that sounds pretty Maoist. But what does that really mean? Well, it basically means what it means. It means that if you somehow have gotten to a point between your ears that you can't seem to move ahead without extracting some kind of retribution upon the person who kept you in bondage, then you can't be free. Now, of course, if that happened here after the Emancipation Proclamation, let's just say there've been a whole lot of dead Negroes all over, scattered all over the South, and perhaps even the North too. But anyway, what does that have to do with that shooting? Well, this goes back to what happened in Rwanda. Now, the history books tell us that it was a fight between the Tutsis and the Hutus. And that was basically a racial component, which is kind of bizarre since everyone in Africa is black, unless, of course, you're a Hindu or one of those Afrikaners down south in South Africa. But when you dig deep into what happened in Rwanda, it was actually about power. The Hutus had the power, the Tutsis wanted the power, and the Hutus didn't want to share the power. And a little fight broke out. But the leader of the country, a Hutu, said, you know what? I'm going to wave the white flag and try to make peace with the Tutsis. And apparently he did. But then, apparently by making peace with the Tutsis, basically he signed his own death warrant. And sure enough, in April '94, a lot of Hutus who didn't want to share power with anybody, they killed the guy. Just killed him. And then they went on a murder spree, murdering not just Tutsis, but Hutus that basically were into that mayhem and murder and whatnot. And it was just a full-scale feeding frenzy. I mean, anyone who's seen a bunch of sharks down there in South Africa going crazy on those damn seals know exactly what I'm talking about. It's not pretty. It's not pretty at all. So then you say, what does that do with the damn killing in Tennessee? Like I said, it's a symptom of a much larger problem. Because when you look at the manifesto, this person was going on about white privilege and going on about honkies and crackers. And when you dig deep into their writing, it wasn't so much they were angry about the people being white. 'Cause remember, this person who shot at the school was white, okay? No, when you dig deep into the writings, they're complaining about people going to their fancy school, people wearing fancy khakis, driving around in their daddy's Mustang. So you say, so they really weren't angry about the white skin. They were angry that these people walking around in nice clothes, driving a nice car, and going to a nice school. And before you could say Jack Robinson, yes, it was all about envy, jealousy. These people had nice things. This person felt that these people shouldn't have those nice things, and therefore they're going to kill them. And I'm thinking, yeah, I can understand that. But in my neighborhood, if some thug saw you walking around with some nice ass sneakers, or a really nice pair of wraparound gargoyle sunglasses, don't really make those things anymore. Yeah, you're gonna get jacked in the street. And guess what? They're not just gonna kill you. They're gonna take those things off of you. And believe me, anyone who's paying enough time watching the 6 o'clock news, seeing all these no good ass thugs jacking people in the street, taking the phone, carjacking them, and sometimes just shooting them for good measure, yeah, I get it. But people like this crazy person in Tennessee, they were going on to it. They were on a different level. And you say, but how you mean by that? Well, Tim Pool, I know I quote the guy a lot. What can I say? I like the guy. He spoke about how he interrogated some of these radical leftists, and they explained their ideology almost to where a 5-year-old can understand. They complained that the world that they lived in, was like a pyramid, where you had the elites on the top and everybody else was on the bottom. And that, according to their ideology, they wanted to take that pyramid and invert it. And then Tim said, but wait a second. If you take a pyramid and invert it, like the ones in Giza, won't you just end up with a pile of bricks? And then, despite being a radical leftist, this is where their genius shined through. They said, the person that Tim Pool was interrogating said, yes, the pyramid will fall apart into a pile, but most of the bricks that were on the top are now on the bottom, and the bricks that were on the bottom are now on the top. And now you get it. So then you say, so now you're beginning to understand this person. She wasn't just one individual shooting up the school. She's part of a bigger movement. And now you're thinking, oh, so there's going to be other crazy leftists going into Christian schools, shooting them up as part of a master plan? Well, not necessarily a master plan. In fact, ever heard the phrase standalone complex? And no, I'm not talking about Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, even though it's a pretty good anime. You should look it up sometime. No. What I'm talking about is standalone complex, where a bunch of people who don't necessarily know each other, not even on each other's Christmas list, all come about with the same idea around the same time. And in fact, the FBI and Justice Department has a word for these people. They call them lone wolves. People who are not part of a bigger group or a bigger conspiracy. They just get radicalized, and then they go out and they do something on their own. And indeed, when it comes to the jihadi crowd, you have a lot of lone wolves there. I mean, for example, remember these people in France that went into the church and killed the preacher man and two of the, what they call them, not, in other words, lay people who worked in the church, and then he cut their heads off? Or how about the crazy fool, also in France, who stole a truck and drove it through, it was some kind of French celebration that happened in Nice, and I saw that video. Oh my God, it was pretty bad. It was awful. I mean, the guy ran over, I don't know how many dozens of people, and he didn't just kill them, he just mashed them like bugs. It was like really, really bad. And then, wait for it, they had another incident in Berlin when the people were having a Christmas festival. And some clown who came with all those so-called Middle East refugees killed some Polish truck driver, stole his truck, went to the Christmas show, and then just drove it through the damn Christmas show, running over a whole bunch of people. Just like that. And, wait for it, and you probably were paying attention to the TV news, they had another radical. And this guy was on the radar of multiple state agencies in, I think it was in Belgium. And indeed, the Libyan government, at least the Libyan government that exists now, I don't know if the Libyan government that exists in the past, they gave the people in Belgium a heads up saying, wait a second, this guy, he's bad news. Because this guy, he's already wanted in our country for murder. And did the Belgian people persona non grata this fool? No. Even though, according to the official records, he supposedly filed for asylum a few years ago and he failed. He didn't get asylum. And therefore, according to Belgian law, he should have been deported. But he wasn't. He was still living in the country. And according to multiple witnesses, this guy was seen driving around on a motorcycle with a fucking rifle. And I think you probably heard what happened next. He went to some sporting event and just randomly shot 3 people. And they weren't even from Belgium. They were from the cotton picking Sweden. And killed them. Okay, killed 2 of them. I think the third one he just wounded. And of course the police caught up this clown and ventilated him. And this is what I'm getting at. Now that's Muslim radicalism. But I think this character in Tennessee is probably just the first of a legion of people that we're going to be seeing, and soon. Radicalized, heavily armed, and basically no one is looking at them. And you say, well, don't the FBI and the NSA have all kinds of eyes and ears all over the internet when these people start talking? Yeah, they're supposed to. Except there's one small problem. We're not talking about Hoover's FBI. We're not even talking about the FBI under George W. Remember all those people who were being surveilled in their damn mosque? No. The FBI we got now is a woke FBI. And I think you know what that means. That basically means that these wokesters inside the FBI are not looking at for radical leftists looking to shoot up the town. You know who they're looking at? They're going to the local Catholic church to rouse the damn deacons and the preachers and the monsignors or what they think about abortion. And they're messing around with Trump supporters. Anyone with a red hat. Yeah, they're going to bug their phone. And if they're not doing anything, they probably will make up something and have them arrested anyway. And of course, those people who riot at January 6th, oh, they're not finished with those people. Oh yeah, they already rounded up half of them. And they're currently sitting in the DC gulag. No trial, no jury, and they're probably not going to get one. But they're looking for the rest of them. Will they find them? Maybe. It's not like these people are not hard to find. In the meantime, these radical leftists, these truly dangerous people, these people whose minds are not right, they're basically in the wind. Nobody's looking for them. Nobody's even thinking about looking for them. So what can we do about that? Well, before you can say add extra security around churches and maybe Christian schools, yeah, that might help. But if you're living in some blue city like New York or San Francisco, yeah, good luck with that. I mean, those cities ain't going to do nothing. So then you probably have to hire private security, I suppose. And indeed, according to the manifesto, this crazy person apparently was going to target a location. They didn't say where, but then they were basically ward off because why? Apparently this other location they wanted to shoot up had private security. And this kook, obviously thought, nah, I just want to go into a building, a bunch of unarmed people, and just kill them. I don't want to get into a Wild West show with Wyatt Earp or Bat Masterson. So like a chicken shit, they lay low and chill, and they lay low and creeped a while. But still, we got a big problem. because as that possessed man famously told Jesus on the road to Canaan, and when he asked him, "What is your name?" and he said, "My name is Legion, for we are many." Well, guess what? This woman, this man, this, I don't know what you call it, her name is her name or his name is Legion, for they are many. And it's not a question of if now. It's only a question then when we're going to have another shooting in some, I don't know where. But let's just say this. It won't going to be at some place where some woke leftists hang out. It'll probably be at some place where conservatives hang out. Like, I don't know, local Republican office, or maybe, oh my God, could you imagine them showing up at some damn Trump rally and shooting the place up? Yeah. Yep. 2024 is going to be a real fun time for everyone. So if you don't have a bulletproof vest, perhaps you should get one, especially if you're part of the patriarchy, because these crazy leftist kooks, they're out there now and they're looking to collect scalps. So, and you better watch your back, because John Law, the FBI, GOJ, they're not going to. Well, that's all I have to say on that mess, and that's my opinion.